दोस्तों, इस क्लास में आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड करूंगा मैं 80 WPM पर SSC और DSSSB के लिए जो स्पेशल मैंने मैटर तैयार किए हैं उसकी आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं 80 WPM पर। बी रेडी फॉर इट।
Mr. President, sir, first of all, I wish to thank you for the unfallingly courteous and gracious manner in which you have invariably presided over the deliberations of this House. Deserving tribute has already been paid to the drafting committee for the way in which it has performed its arduous and responsible duties. I would like very briefly to pay a particular tribute to my honorable friend who is sitting on my right, Dr. Ambedkar. I do not believe that any one of us can really gauge the volume of work and the intensity of concentration that must have been involved in the production of this voluminous and by no means easy document. And while on occasions I may not have agreed with him, it always gave me the very greatest pleasure to listen to his tremendous grasp not only of fundamentals but of details, of the clarity with which he invariably presented his case. It has been said that this constitution has received a mixed reception. It is inevitable that its reception should have been mixed because inevitably it is a mixed constitution. It is composite in character. I believe that it is a blend and a proper blend between idealism on the one side and realism on the other. I know that some of my ardently idealistic friends have criticized it. They would like to have seen, instead of this blend, something in the nature of a decalogue or the 10 commandments, something which was so wholly idealistic that it would have wilted and died under the first impact of administrative realities and political difficulties. As I have said, I believe that we have borrowed enough from idealism to make the Constitution a fairly attractive and an aspiring document, and on the other hand, we have not based it entirely on material from mundane considerations so as to retard or in any way to take away from this the inspiring elements. I realize, sir, that it is not a perfect document, but at the same time I feel that in hammering it out we have traversed all the processes of the democratic manufactory, that we have ranged through the whole gamut of democratic factors. There has been careful thought, there has been close analysis, there has been argument and counter argument, there has been fierce controversy, and at one time I thought that the controversy was so fierce that we might reach the stage of what the Romans called settling it by actual physical force. But in the final analysis has pervaded a real sense of accommodation and a real feeling of forbearance. So far as the minority provisions are concerned, sir, I cannot speak on behalf of any other minority, but I do claim to speak on behalf of the Anglo-Indian community. I have paid repeated tributes to the generous and understanding way in which the Anglo-Indian community has been dealt with under this constitution. All I feel I need say at this moment is to reiterate my own gratitude and appreciation for the very generous way in which the Anglo-Indian community has been treated. Now I shall deal very briefly with certain aspects of the Constitution. I agree with my honorable friend when he says that it might have been wiser for us not to have extended the franchise at one bound to universal suffrage. I recall the experience in Britain and the precedent of Britain. I am aware that the precedents and experience in other countries are not sacrosanct for us. But what happened in Britain in this manner of franchise? A representative parliamentary government was introduced in Britain in the 19th century, but it was not till as recently as 1928 that universal franchise or adult suffrage was introduced. Though some of us are in the habit of talking about democracy without understanding its real purpose and its real content, to my mind, a mere counting of heads has never constituted democracy. Democracy has always carried the postulate, the implication that at least the exercise of the franchise would be made, if not on an essentially rationalistic basis, would be made at least on a common sense basis. And my own feeling is, sir, that if we had pursued the path of wisdom more than that of statesmanship, that we would have been justified to hasten slowly in this matter, that we would have not at one bound adopted the device of adult franchise, but will have proceeded progressively, not necessarily gradually, but progressively. As it is, I am one of those who can only express the very sincere hope that when the next elections are fought or the elections after that, this electorate will not be stampeded by empty slogans into chasing political fantasies, which will not only lead to chaos but to the very destruction of the democracy. Stop. तो दोस्तों इसी के साथ ही डिक्टेशन फिनिश होती है और पूरी उम्मीद आप लोगों ने इसे अच्छे से लिखा होगा। कंटिन्यू मेहनत करते रहिए, रेगुलर डिक्टेशंस आपको मिल रही हैं, स्किल टेस्ट आपका पास में है। जितनी ज़्यादा मेहनत करेंगे उतनी ज़्यादा इंप्रूवमेंट आपकी शॉर्ट हैंड में होगी। आपसे मुलाकात करता हूँ अगली क्लास में अगली ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।